Hello, what's up, and welcome back. So we have standard deck tag again. We watch with the machines with the user submitted list, which we named this one as the June Battles by Slice 1. Since this is the new card type that was introduced in the set, the battle, so we have basically 19 battles in the deck. There is various kinds of invasion, but we are accommodating the June colors, that is black, red, and green. And we have just this initial deck tag, in which what we really want to achieve is to go and flip these battles and invasion as early as possible. So again, the card compositions would be 19 battles, 4 creatures, 4 instants, 7 sorcery, and 26 lands. And we're going to start with what are our battle choices here. So we're going to have some various deck composition wherein we have some kind of categorized under support or targeted, but the main core here is that we should be able to flip this up to our other card as early as possible. So this one, we're starting with Invasion of Azgul. This is 2-cost black red. That is a Baraktos color of the battle. When enters the battlefield, target player sacrifices a creature or planeswalker and loses 1 life. So basically, this is a sorcery speed kind of an edict effect. At the same time, you get to be able to flip this into the Action Reaper. This is just 2-1 zombie elemental creature with a menace. In a beginning end step, put a potential counter on Action Reaper if a permanent was put into a graveyard from the battlefield this turn. So with the way this deck would function, because of, we can say that some damage effects or destroy effects that would have those permanents put to a graveyard from the battlefield, then you could get to have this free trigger of putting a potential counter on Action Reaper. So we have 4 copies of this. Next up, we have this Invasion. This is the Invasion of Ergamon. Another 2-cast battle, but with the Ghoul colors, that is red green. When enters the battlefield, create a token, that's basically a ramp, and then you may discard a card if you draw a card. So we have a ramp and a kind of a hand fix effect with this card, and we'll be able to rotate this one, to flip this one rather. You're gonna have this Truga Cliff Harder. This is a 3/4 Trampler, and there's the battlefield. You may discard a card. If you do, search the bait for a land or battle card, reveal it, and put it in your hand. So, another way to chain up by replacing this one, you get a 3/4 Trampler creature Rhino, but you would also be able to search for another battle card. Depending on certain situations, you would be able to use this so that you can maximize the flip of this card. So, make sure of 4 copies of this. And next up, we have another battle card, the Invasion of Ikoria. So this is now one of the highly sought rare green battle cards because of its ability that is paid X and green, enters the battlefield, search library and graveyard for a non-human creature card, and then put it into the battlefield. That is depending on how many mana value would depend on the X value that you paid. Then if you're able to search this one, you will shuffle your library, and if you're able to flip this one, you would get the Ziltora, Apex of Ikoria. So this is a very huge legendary creature dinosaur, an 8/8 for each, and then for each non-human creature you control, you may have that creature assign its combat damage as though it weren't black. So very much of the value already. It basically can be black, and also at 8/8 damage, which that can also black flyers for this. So Ziltora, or the Invasion of Ikoria, is also 4 copies. Next up, we also have 4 copies of Invasion of Regatta. So this is a 3-cast red card battle. Enters the battlefield, it deals 4 damage to another target battle or opponent, and then it deals 1 damage to up to 1 target creature. So this way would also help you in flipping up your other battles as you curve into this. And then if you were able to flip this one, you get a Disciples of the Inferno. It is a Far West 4/4 human monk. If a non-creature source you control will deal damage to a creature, battle, or opponent, it deals that much damage plus 2 instead. So very efficient, though you would only need to have a non-creature damage source. So it would add added damage to it, given that this deck build, as you look at it, you have some instants and some damage effects. So you can basically maximize that card to be able to deal additional 2 damage. Now for that one, we go with the 4 copies of Invasion of Brigata. We also have 3 copies of Invasion of Fiora. This is a 6-cast black battle. With its ability that enters the battlefield, you can choose 1 or more, or both. You can destroy all legendary creatures or destroy all non-legendary creatures. So basically, you can have this 6-cast Wrath of God destroy effect. And we'll be able to flip this one. You'll get a Marchesa Resolute Monarch, a legendary creature human noble. So Marchesa is back again. So basically from a commander card or from the other special format played, it becomes a standard legal legendary creature to be played on this. And it's a 3/6 menace death touch. At the same time, whenever it attacks, remove all counters from up to one target permanent. So with that benefit, that means you can remove counters from another battle you control and basically flip it up according to your desire or what kind of effect you would want for that certain scenario or attack phase. And then in your upkeep, if you haven't dealt combat damage since your last turn, you can draw a card and lose life in the process. So an added bonus is you would be able to draw a card, which is very beneficial also if you're going to go mid-range or mid-game up to the late game. So that wraps up your battle. That's 19 pieces in total. And then you also have this creature. It's the only creature in the deck. That's Glisa Sunslayer. It has its effect that you can basically benefit by removing up to 3 counters from target permanent. That's also help out your battle being flipped. But also this is very efficient in terms of combat damage because you can be able to first strike and that touch any potential blocker or attacker that you can block. So make sure that 4 copies of this is also included in the deck. You can utilize later on. Now for the only instance here that also benefit us with the battle effect is Volcanic Spite. This is 2 to cast 3 damage to target creature, planeswalker, or battle. Sorts of upgrade of Fire Prophecy from Ikoria. Then if you may put a card from your hand on the bottom of your library, and then if you do, draw a card. So that's also benefit well because you can basically filter out your hand. At the same time, you can also 3 damage dealt to a battle you control. So that's for the instant, and last but not the least are the choices for the sorcery. So first up, you can go with the Render Inert. So this is one way to also flip up your battle by removing up to 5 counters from target permanent and then drawing a card, basically replacing itself. At the same time, we also have Nahiri's Warcrafting, 2 copies. So this is a 3 sorcery, deals 5 damage to a creature, planeswalker, or battle. And then look at the top X cards with library where X is excess damage dealt this way. So in any instance that you would only have 2 damage needed for a certain battle or creature, for example, that is a 2 toughness, then the extra damage would also be used so that you can be able to look at the top X cards of library depending on the damage excess, and then you can exile one of those cards and then put the rest to the bottom of the library, and then you may play the exiled card this turn. So in various situations, that is sort of a card draw effect by having you extra cards from your top of your library exiled and then be able to play this turn. So that also depends on the probably in the late game scenario wherein you will need also to flip up a battle by dealing 5 damage to it, and at the same time get a bonus exile from the top card of the library, and also in a turn being able to play out that battle card or any creature card. And last but not the least is the only Into the Fire copy in the deck. This is 3 to cast sorcery wherein you can deal 2 damage to each creature, planeswalker, or battle, which means that multiple instances of battle played under your opponent's protection will also be dealt with 2 damage, and then put any number of cards from your hand on the top, from the top or the bottom of your library, and then draw that many cards plus 1. So another card effect. So we only have 1 copy of this, which means we can basically have to choose this one of any chances that you would need to draw or replace your hand by this one, or you can just be able to 2 damage to each creature, planeswalker, in battle. So that's wraps up the non-land cards in this deck. And the land for the Jan is basically composed of these check lands and slow lands, basically these cards, their gorge that laid, and also included is 2 copies of the 3 colors, the Taurus Proving Ground, along with these several ouch lands in Sulphurous Springs, Lanor Waste, and Carposan Forest. So I guess that's about it for this deck tech, and I'm pretty sure this is very much of a battle aligned deck. As you can see here, the only March of the Machines card is Glisa Sunslayer, whereas the rest is basically aligned for only 1 set. I think this deck will given a good sideboard and pretty much improve for some of the card choices would be really kind of efficient in terms of a mid-range deck that we can use for our setup of this kind of deck for the standard format. So that's not the least, as a average mana cost of 2.79. That's pretty much cheap already. Card distribution is pretty much efficient. We have 18 for black, green cards is 16, and red for 21. But given these multiple colors, you can basically consider them as 2 colors, and both colors are added. And the black producers are pretty much the same with 16, red is 17, and green is 19. So that's basically it for this deck tech. We're going to just have a short discussion of this, which we can also proceed now for the next video, which we're going to check on the recent tournament results for the standard format, as we see new cards in this deck with using the March of the Machine set. Again, guys, thank you for checking this video, and see you guys in the next one.